With the outbreak of COVID-19, the world in different regions have reacted in different ways. The Premier League has been postponed till April. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics might be postponed. Movie screening, shooting, and release dates have all been cancelled. The European Union on Monday approved a 30-day ban on non-essential travel to at least 26 European countries from the rest of the world. The federal government has also announced entry restrictions from travelers from the following countries: China, Italy, Iran, South Korea, Spain, Japan, France, Germany, Norway, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Netherlands, and Switzerland. Plus, there has been a lot of misinformation both on mainstream media and social media. On today's video, we will try to clarify things and make you well informed so that you can make proper decisions on how to readjust your daily routines for the days to come, because you will need to make some big changes. These are some of the questions asked about COVID-19 that we need to be well informed on. Number 1. The source of the virus. Most of the medical world agree that it originated from Wuhan in China.
It was New Year's Eve 2019 when health officials in China admitted they had a problem. A rapidly growing number of people were developing a dry cough and fever before getting pneumonia. And for some, it turned fatal. Doctors have named the disease COVID-19, or coronavirus disease 2019, indicating that a type of virus is causing the illness. When they tried to trace its origin, they found a likely source: this food market in Wuhan. Out of the first 41 patients, 27 had been here. It wasn't conclusive evidence, but Chinese officials quickly shut down the market.
However, there are some who believe that this is a bio-attack, engineered by some corporate body.
So next time we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse.
This entire event is completely staged and has a real bioweapon at its heart that is an entire class and family of engineered chimeras that are going to cause autoimmune disorders, pneumonia, cancer, attacks on nerves. We now know what it's doing. And that's why when you tune in now, or you tune into the national news, it's like, it's an autoimmune virus, and it keeps mutating, and it comes back and back and back. You heard that 6 weeks ago. The most prestigious Indian university that deals with CRISPR gene editing looked at this and said, my God, this is completely artificial. Jesus, this is, excuse my French, this is out of control. And then others said the same thing. We know. So people that are debating, is it super deadly or isn't it? But everyone instinctively scared because, yeah, it's deadly, folks. They have introduced airborne 2.0 HIV, and nobody's getting away from it. Everybody's already got it.
While this notion cannot be totally dismissed, due to a lack of substantial evidence, this has to be placed under conspiracy theory until such evidence comes to light. Number 2, how to prevent it. In truth, there is no confirmed way of totally making yourself immune to the virus. However, though, there are safety measures one can take to reduce the likelihood of getting infected.
Hand with soap under a running water for 20 seconds. Or you can use hand sanitizer that contains 60% alcohol in it. Like we see people do, they pick their nose, touch their face. So these are like measures we should put in place. This is our face. But for safety for this period, we should avoid those practices. Avoid close contact with the sick person, irrespective of the ailment or whatever that has been diagnosed. It's better we keep away from them, not stigmatize them. Then lastly, social distance. You know, where this place we are, we greet either by hugging, shaking, doing all sorts of things. But for this period of time, I think it is advisable and it is wise everybody keeps social distance.
Number 3, the existence of the Italian man. Let's say, for a lack of better term, you greatly mistrust the Nigerian government. Plus, there is no scene footage of the Italian man nor a mention of his name. You might have a point though, but if you take the Italian man out of the equation, it doesn't change the fact that countries like Ghana are putting travel bans and leagues are being postponed. All these are clear indications that the virus is real. And given the virus capacity to spread, you need to take this more seriously. Number 4, a cure for COVID-19. Both the WHO and the CDC are saying that the earliest we can expect a cure is from 12 to 18 months.
Of a wartime mobilization, that we can deliver a vaccine in time to save a lot of lives. I think it's important in asking the public to step up and to mobilize in this fight against the virus to understand what those timelines are and to be realistic about it. Our timelines, the timelines of the NIH in the US and the timelines of many knowledgeable vaccine developers, we don't see any way that a vaccine can be available much more rapidly than 12 to 18 months. And even if it were to be available in 12 to 18 months, that would literally be, the world record for developing and delivering a vaccine.
When you've heard me say we would not have a vaccine that would even be ready to start to deploy for a year to a year and a half, that is the time frame. Now, anyone who thinks they're going to go more quickly than that, I believe will be cutting corners that would be detrimental.
That being said, some have come out to say that they have a vaccine.
Because the nearest term potential solutions are existing drugs. Gilead's remdesivir is an experimental antiviral drug in multiple clinical trials now in China, the U.S., and elsewhere around the world, with the first results expected in a few weeks. There's also a generic drug used to treat malaria called chloroquine that's currently in trials as well. The results aren't yet in. Raymond James points out that prescriptions of that drug spiked in late February, suggesting it may be getting used or at least stockpiled already. Analyst Stephen Seedhouse noting the drug's been used for more than 70 years with a good safety track record. He says it costs pennies a dose to produce and it's given as a pill. So he bets it could have the biggest impact in the coming months. But that's if it's proven to work.
This drug might have by far the highest potency we've seen. The question that remains to be answered in the ongoing trials, which we may get data for in April and possibly even slightly earlier than that, the question that remains to be answered is, what's the time point after infection when you need to take that drug? That's the question that remains unanswered.
The other question, frankly, that needs to be answered is how long until we can actually see this drug be put to use in people?
I think that can happen relatively fast. And I say that because once we have these early results in April and additional results in May timeframe, there's a lot of manufacturing scale-up happening right now. It's not a complex molecule. We could have a fair amount of supply starting to come online by this summer.
Interesting. What other companies are working on drugs that we may hear about in the very near future?
I think an additional one I'll point you to is a malaria drug, which is already on the market called chloroquine. You see a lot of supply of this drug in emerging markets, less so in U.S. because you don't have a lot of malaria in U.S. Chloroquine appears in preclinical models to be very active. There's a trial ongoing. So that's, again, for treatment purposes. Now, separately, if you switch over to so again, these are drugs that kill the virus. But what happens is phase 1 is when the virus is going up, so you kill the virus. Phase 2 of the disease is when inflammation kicks in. So there's a lot of anti-inflammatory drugs that are getting approved, and there's plenty of them out there. But again, they're only on the inflammation phase. If you get removed from people that have already gotten the infection, think about prevention. You may look at Moderna, which is a biotech company which has a trial ongoing now with an mRNA vaccine custom-made for COVID-19, which is that trial ongoing now, and we could get data possibly this summer.
But until these tests are confirmed worldwide, we would have to put this under speculative rumor. Number 5, should we wear face masks? There is a split take on this one though. This is what the WHO are saying.
If you do not have any respiratory symptoms such as fever, cough, or runny nose, you do not need to wear a medical mask like this one. Mask alone can give you a false feeling of protection and can even be a source of infection when not used correctly. Masks should only be used by healthcare workers, caretakers, or by people who are sick with symptoms of fever and cough. Why? Because healthcare workers and caretakers are in close contact with ill individuals, so they're at higher risk of catching COVID-19. And sick people should wear masks to protect others from small droplets that can come out when they cough or sneeze.
But medical practitioners from the Chinese are saying something different.
One more thing that kind of freaked people out was that health authorities have said one can spread the virus and not know it because this person may not be showing symptoms. This is because he or she may have had contact with someone who, for example, recently returned from Wuhan or an epidemic area and got infected. But the person's immune stress response isn't as strong, or he or she is still in that incubation period, during which you can still transmit the virus to others. This is why we emphasize the importance of wearing masks over and over again. So the next time you hear the argument that masks are useless if you aren't sick, you know it's wrong.
So you would have to use your prerogative on this one, whether to choose to wear a face mask or not. Number 6. How deadly is coronavirus? Very deadly depending on who has it. For children, based on current data, they get infected very easily, but for some reason, it seems to have little or no effects on them. For adults though, some have fever, cold, and cough, and some get fatally ill. But it has shown more aggressiveness to those between the ages of 50 and above. Some people have it and show no symptoms. Some have it and have an incubation period of 24 days before they start to show symptoms. These are some of the questions Nigerians have been asking, and we have done our best to answer them. If you want us to answer more questions, please let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit that notification button to see more of our videos. The most positive thing to come out of this pandemic is a song that teaches you to wash your hands. There are many songs out there, but we like this one the most. Until next video, please wash your hands.